So good morning and welcome back to the fabulous Kempinski Hotel in the Pearl of Doha for another edition of Breakfast with Fram at the Qatar PSA World Championships. Our special guest today, just about to play his 11th quarter-final in the World Championships, James Willstrop.
Ta-da-da!
Thank you very much.
11th! My God, you're getting on, man.
That is, yeah.
No, it's incredible. It's incredible to have you, first of all, here. To have you playing that well, because with all what you've been through with your body and, life and all that.
I'm as surprised as you.
You are, I am terrible, it's amazing the way you've been playing and roll people, back in time, and that's what the titles everywhere.
Everyone keeps saying that. I've had that about 4 times, that phrase, roll back the years.
And I'm like, no, I didn't like that.
No, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Still play, can't you?
Today is today.
Number.
You are a family of tradition of squash. But at the moment, what interests me as well is what you're doing in your acting life. You are sort of, that maybe explains why you are again focusing on your squash, because when your mind is able to express somewhere else, and when you come back, you're sharper. Is that one of the things that can happen?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think every time I've done the acting, it seemed it's not had the detrimental effect that I was a little bit not scared, but not sure whether it would have that. And every single time, I don't think there's been one time where, when I've had that focus, there's been something quite good going on in the squash thing. And I don't know. It's a really interesting thing. I mean, if I don't know whether the scientists have looked into things like this, but I think it's something that squash coaches, squash people who are bringing up young people who are going into this incredibly intense environment of, mentally trying to compete with the best players in the world for 20 years of their life. There isn't really anything in place at the minute to talk about balance, and coaches talk about associations and funding. It goes into making us better squash players, but to actually, how important is the other side of
Life.
of an athlete's life, or whatever you're doing in your life, if you're putting so much into it and being so intense. I mean, when you're on there for 4 games against Gawad, someone like that, and playing to that level, that the concentration and the amount of effort and is at such a sort of 98, 99% of the intensity that you can ever reach in your life. So most people go through their day, you write, you have a coffee, or you do something, or you go to your computer, you do your emails, you do whatever administrative. That's a lot of people, and it's quite level. And I'm not saying that's not difficult, but because you're up at those intensities as part of your daily life, there's only a certain amount of that you can take. I think there's a sort of limit.
And you need something else.
And I think it's people are doing it in different ways. Ali and Amanda and Sorav and there's loads of SJ and have studied and done different things, and maybe studying is I wasn't sure about that maybe 15 years ago. If someone had said, "Well, go and study," well, I probably wouldn't have said that was maybe you put everything into squash. But I think now everything's totally different. I think it's a great thing to go and study and just have something that's away from it a little bit.
Well, if you look at Greg Gauthier, for example, it's when he got his kid that his career exploded, when he had suddenly something else to worry about than just his performances and things. But there's something we talked about the other day which was important as well, because you have a very typical for me English education, which is a bit strict and which is great. But when you arrive in the acting business, you learn to switch on your emotions, and that as well maybe sort of helped in your the career as well to be able to express your angers and things.
Yeah, and it was nice talking to you about that.
Thank you.
Somebody
likes talking to me.
Yeah, no, it was because you're an actor. Do I say actor or actress? And you understand that, and what an actor does is they go through incredible depths. They have to find emotion. They have to understand and observe and see the emotion, the whole gamut of emotions that a person goes through, and that's what you do when you go and tell a story on a stage. You have to go to depths, And that's the fascinating thing. I mean, I love it. And maybe on a squash court, I've managed to be very, calm and so grateful to have been taught that way by Malcolm. He's taught me to keep relaxed, keep calm. And God, I can't say how important that's been for me. But I guess on the other side, I can go and do a play like I did the other week, and I'm a sort of London criminal who F's and blinds every other word, and it was pretty disgusting, really, completely the opposite to me, and
which is the purpose when you do acting.
Such good fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
can't tell you how much fun that is, because I can go and be something else, and I can let out loads of sides that are probably there's a little bit of it in there, not much hopefully, because he's a psychopath, but you can go and sort of explore that. And
It's great.
It allows you. When I came here and I'm talking to you about it, I know you know what it is. It is
It's
fascinating.
great fun to actually go inside, get your emotions that you don't want to know that they are there, get them out, have fun with them, and then you take them away.
Sure.
It's quite fun.
Incredible.
Back to squash, because people are like, maybe you're not that interested, but we are interested. We don't care.
Yep.
Yes, biggest disappointment and biggest happiness. What the two things. What the worst that happened to you on the squash court or squash career, and the best that ever happened to you. I know I've always asked difficult questions. Surely you know that.
Yeah, I mean, this changes. I mean, like probably again a few years ago, I would talk about it in a results sense, and now I feel like the results are secondary, really. I would have probably said, winning this and losing that, but the whole squash experience is a lot more than that, and it's about people. It's about experiencing it with people, and I think one of the best things that I've done in the sport is probably the kind of great rallies that I've played, and I think maybe the one thing that people are mentioning the later I go on, I've said this before, is not the results or the championships. It's the shot against Gawad in the Grasshopper, or the triple fake, or that's the sort of thing that I get kids come up to me and say,
I've seen that.
I want to do it, or I see someone doing it. Now that's like, wow, you've actually It's not just you've won a match or you've lost a match. You've actually given some life to that person. That's lovely. That's really like a fantastic thing. And, whether you can do whatever you can do that with, whether if you're in any way artistic, I'm sure what you guys do, you're writing, you're trying to express something in an emotional way because you enjoy squash and hope that people read it and enjoy it with you, and we're all trying to do that to an extent. So when that happens, I think that those are my best achievements almost. And there've been some tough. I think nearly being injured, and missing out on the Commonwealth Games was going to be a big difficulty in 2014, because it was at a time I wasn't really expecting, and actually that wasn't a disappointment in the end because I made it. But in terms of matches, I think one of the biggest disappointments was losing the World Team Final in Paderborn. That was tough. That was tough. Yeah, because again, it's more about the people that are around us.
And it was the first time he beat you, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of expectation.
It was a lot of expectation. The other thing was, it was, it's not just about the win and the loss. It's about, I'd worked very, very hard that summer, and it can apply to anyone in life. You think you've put the effort in, you think you've done the work, and I was completely confused as to why I delivered a performance like that. But I then began to understand and learn that it doesn't always just happen immediately. You have to sometimes wait for these things, but that was a difficult one, because we were all part of a team. I wanted to do it for everybody, not just me, and on that occasion. So, but yeah.
And when you stop, whenever that is, tomorrow, 3 years, whatever, how do you want people to remember you? What image do you want them? The truthful fake, or a gentleman man? What is the image you would like people to remember? Say, oh, yes, Jem Willstrop. Wasn't he the guy that was? What would you like people to remember you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's a question that gets asked, and I don't go around thinking about how people want people to remember me. I think it's a funny question, and I don't go around. I don't think people move on. To be honest, I don't think.
So you don't think that?
I don't think people are going to sit around going, "Oh, let's think about how can I remember James Willstrop?" Or Rami Ashur. Yeah, I mean, people will remember Rami Ashur for obvious reasons, but I don't know. I don't know whether they will. People move on. Things move on pretty quickly.
Okay, let's put it
It
another
would
way.
be lovely if-
What would you want your kids to learn most of all?
From me or from anything.
From anything. What is the thing that you want them to remember, to know, to live by? You know, what you want them to?
So sort of a. I mean, I want them to be decent. I'd love them really anything just to be decent people. I think.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. And like I've said, I think we touched on it with the triple fake. And if you can touch someone, or I believe in Malcolm's philosophies about attitude, and I've always said this. I think we can all do things decently.
Mm-hmm.
Squash and professional sport brings out the worst of us often because we shout at referees and we get in the way, and we will do anything. A lot of us, we'll do a lot to win. We have to be careful that we don't overstep lines. That's my view, and I think we can do it decently. And I think if my child was to go and do whatever they do in life, I think do it decently, do it fairly, but aggressively, and try your best. And I don't think there's anything
exactly
else.
what I
Yeah.
thought
So
you'd say.
sorry.
I'm happy with that.
I'm just
I'm
whinging
happy
on
with
it. Yeah. My
No,
legacy.
he's a decent
My
man.
legacy.
He's a decent man. That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah. No, I think it's more the term. People talk about legacies. That I know what you mean, but it's who am I to have a legacy? I'm nobody.
No, it's just,
I'm just a person,
not a
and
legacy.
lots
I
of
never
people
thought
have
about legacy. I'm just
things to
talking
leave
about-
behind, and if
You're a decent man.
that's
I'm happy with that.
fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.